Heyman, you and the Bloodline have brought a word to professional wrestling fandom that I felt like wasn't there before. And that word is cinema. What does cinema mean to you?
I mean, I'm not the one that originally described it as cinema. It's something that was bestowed upon us because trying to find the word of what we were doing became difficult because we weren't doing anything that was defined by conventional descriptions within the realm of professional wrestling or sports entertainment. But to me, it's the same thing that we did back in ECW. We stopped insulting the audience of the fans. We understood that you're looking for sophisticated storylines. We understood that it's no longer the day of Hulkamania. It's no longer the day of eyes bugging out of the head and luring the audience in to cheering for us or booing us, that we will earn it on merit. That if we don't deserve the cheers, we're not going to ask for them because we didn't earn it. That we take compelling storylines, that we look at TV shows like Peaky Blinders or The Sopranos or The Wire or Breaking Bad. Notice how these are all gangster shows, by the way. Or you look at the movies that become popular, and then the common thread is that you care about these characters. That even the good guys, the baby faces, have qualities that are kind of repugnant, and even the most disgusting heels will have a measure of redemption to them. That it's not just all black and white, that there is a middle ground, and sometimes that middle ground gets blurred, and then you have a right to choose for yourself which character you like more than the other. So it's just a matter of being modern. It's just a matter of realizing that the way that pro wrestling / sports entertainment was being presented was done. It was draconian, it was antiquated, it was old, it was played out. And it was time for something new and different and fresh, and something that played to what the audience itself had been crying for.
Everything counts.
Yes.
Is a motto of NotSam Wrestling. It's our rule number 3. Everything counts. With that philosophy, and the Bloodline is entirely responsible for that, in my opinion. When you're keeping that in mind, are you doing things like, let's put this breadcrumb here and we can revisit in 3 to 6 months? Or 3 to 6 months later, are you going, you know, we did this back then, that should be referenced?
No. Every single solitary moment, every frame that we're in has meaning for something. And sometimes it's an intentional misdirect, but it does mean something, because that misdirect will play out in a match. Or 3 months from now, it'll play out in a promo. In the very first scene that we had after Roman Reigns lost the title at WrestleMania to Cody Rhodes, we come into the locker room, and Cody Rhodes now has the champion's locker room.
Yeah.
And Solo wants to kick down the door and reclaim it. And I tell Solo, number one, it's not our locker room anymore. Winning and losing matters. Number two, losing has consequences. And number three, if we want it back, we have to take it back our way, and that's by order of the tribal chief. So number one, Solo that night takes Jimmy Uso out of the Bloodline, and he says, winning and losing matters, right? Losing has consequences, right? And when Tama Tonga and Solo took out Jimmy Uso, they looked at me and said, by orders of the tribal chief, which of course didn't make sense to me until we're in Madison Square Garden 3 months later, and Solo turns to me and says, acknowledge me as your tribal chief. So, from the very first scene after Roman lost the title, that led 3 months later to that moment in Madison Square Garden, because when they refer to the tribal chief, they mean Solo, and they took my words of winning and losing matters and losing its consequences and shoved it straight up my tuchus. So everything that we say, everything that we do means something, because that real estate on television is worth millions and millions of dollars. We're gonna make everything, and we're gonna get the most out of every frame that we're on.
And that is also where all that speculation is allowed to come in, because it becomes now, if every word counts, we can speculate on how those words are interpreted. How did he take that word? Well, he said the tribal chief, but the tribal chief is actually this guy, and now we can have this conversation that has roots and depth on the levels that, like you said, some of those great television shows do. Why is Paulie Walnuts looking at Tony like that? Is he, and that's now become a part of professional wrestling, and I don't think it was there before.
Right, well, one of the things that we all felt that was really missing from the presentation was intrigue. Just intrigue, just conversation. Like, did you see Friday's show? Hey, when he said that, what do you think that meant? And who do you think he was referring to? And why would he say that? So all of a sudden, it's not just, oh, well, he won the match, and oh man, oh, he lost the match. It's a lot deeper than that now, and everything has meaning that opened it to discussion and interpretation, to the point where there's now reason. You know, the old expression, water cooler talk. Now there's reason for water cooler talk. Now there's reason for open debate as to what has happened, and more importantly, what will happen in the future.